Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video with me, Sherman. Today guys, I am going to be playing Redfall while I discuss my opinions about Redfall. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm going to give my direct input about the game and what I've experienced, and it's not going to be like any of the other reviews you've probably seen. So let's get into it. But before I do, I want to show you guys this. So I have two characters. I have Devinder, who's level 30, and is 55% complete with the mission on the midnight difficulty. I've been playing him. I played him through the first time, completed everything I could, started on a second playthrough on midnight, and have been enjoying the hell out of it. But I wanted to play other characters, so I made Layla. Got her up to level 16 today, and 36% with the main mission done in the Redfall Commons. And I will continue with playing her while I discuss things about the game. So, first off, I want to talk about the story of this game, because it is a thing that has been ridiculed by so many.
I am confident. I am
badass. That's right. You say that, girl.
Oh, hey. Sorry. I'm spacing out today.
Yeah, a lot of us are. Don't worry. Alright. So the story of Redfall is told through missions, for the most part. You will get a decent chunk of the story through the missions. Now, the cutscenes for the missions, I don't have a problem with. A lot of people do, because it's like a three-dimensional photo. It's kind of done weird, but it really does kind of remind me of some classic horror or scary movies, or even some of the old mystery TV shows that talked about, like, the supernatural, or talked about, you know, different kinds of things that deal with, like, Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires, you know, murder mysteries, those kind of things. These were shows that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, horror movies of the past, like Salem's Lot. At the beginning, it showed photos of things, and it kind of gets you your interest piqued. There was a lot of really cool stuff that they did with this, with the storytelling. Now, besides that, you also get story through these items you find in the world called grave locks, and this tells the story of the girl that they used to create the vampire. You know, I'm going to call it what it is. It's a vampire plague, okay? Because that's what they created, a plague in this town. And it's really, like, the girl that does the voice acting, like, I know a lot of people crack on voice actors all the time, but I used to act in high school, like in plays and stuff. I'm not an actor myself, but I respect voice actors. I really do. And you can hear in her voice, like, emotion and different things like that. And it's not even really, like, deep emotion. It's like sadness emotion in the way she explains her story. In fact, I'm going to play one for you just so you can hear for yourselves this. And I'm going to do my whole family one. This is a really good one.
I was a little girl when it started, doing what I could to help folk live after the family died. I wanted the world to be my family.
Man, like, she does a great job, whoever they got to voice act that. Like, credits to her. And I want to talk about, like, how the characters play into the story. Each character has their own, like input in the story. Like, it's like the story plays around the character you play. And I think that that's really cool that they do that they put emphasis into the characters, you know, the character and how they are placed into the story and how they act within the story. I think that's really good. Now, they also have this other really interesting story beat, which is these creatures you kill, which are called Sin Eaters. Sorry. A little forgetful right now, but Sin Eaters. And the Sin Eaters actually tell the story of the doctors who created the vampire plague from this girl. And it's just really cool how they do it. But then there's the notes, there's cassettes, there's other things that you find along the way that tell stories. And even the world tells the story in a way. Like when you walk around the world, it's empty, it's barren, you're kind of like, man, this is kind of, effed up what they did and how bad the world is. So the story itself, pretty in depth. I wouldn't say it's Arcane's best. Like, it's not like on the scale of their other games, but I would say for what's here and what's available, it's a solid story. And in fact, I would say it fits the tone of the game, and it fits the game very well. But there's more. And this is where things are going to get really interesting. You guys saw, I walked down there, I looked at an intersection, there was some stuff going on, with a bus and stuff. And this is the one thing that really caught me off guard with this game. It's something you notice it in games when you play them, but you don't really put two and two together. A lot of people call it like dynamic event systems or dynamic systems. But I've heard of it and heard it called procedural population. And basically what it means is the world of your game procedurally populates based on the area within range of your character. Now, as you can see right here, I come down the road, there's a bus down here also, and it looks like there's some guys like outside of it. It's actually a police truck, and those are... I'm going to get a different gun out and see if I can get a bead on them. Might have to get closer. But it looks like they could be Bellwether or cultists. They're cultists. So these cultists are looting this police truck, right? And you saw those other guys down looting a van or a bus or something. Now I'm going to run back down here, and this will explain what procedural population is. Because they didn't just use NPCs for this. They actually used assets, art assets, or meshes, or whatever you want to say. But most people call them an art asset because it's actually an asset of the world that they use in random locations for this purpose. The bus is gone. There's something else there. What is it? Well, it's a barricade with, it looks like, possibility of a vampire caught in a slumber, or it's just chilling. And there's some guys off the road, at the side of the road, some cultists it looks like. Now if I run back to the other area, there's a chance that something else might be there. Now this is what procedural population is it procedurally generates from assets different things into the world. And it could be vampires, it could be the cultists, it could be the different enemies that you fight in the game. Now, it does have
dead after dark.
Select areas it does this in. It does this in pretty much any area where there's things that spawn. It'll procedurally populate. There we go. This time it's a vampire caught in... It's a shroud caught in stuff, and it looks like those are Bellwether. Yep, those are Bellwether troops. You can tell because they have more of the assault weapons and stuff. And it'll do this. Not just in those two places. It does it all throughout the game. It does it at the water tower because enemies spawn there. It does it at the house down the street. It does it in this ravine right here. Vampires will spawn here sometimes. Sometimes a Bellwether crew will be walking through. Sometimes it'll be the cultists. That's a vampire. Across the way, I see them. They're sitting in the bush. How I didn't see them, I don't know. Alright. So that's a really cool feature, and it's one of my favorite features of the game. Because it makes the world feel organic. It makes the world feel natural. Like you're wandering around, and a lot of times you won't notice this because you're just doing missions or whatever. But I caught on to it because I was doing a lot of exploring, and I started noticing like different things just randomly appearing in different places. And it could explain why people get a lot of the pop-in effect or feeling when they're playing the game. You'll see bushes and trees pop in. It could be them loading these assets into the world. Like you can see over here, we have a vampire. Now this vampire is an elite vampire, And that's why it has that blue sparkle around it. And when you kill it, it'll blast energy out. Pretty common. Now look down there in that intersection. Nothing's there. Freaking amazing. Love this about this game. But there's even more, guys. Besides that, the game world itself is designed in such detail. Like, this does... The Arcane did justice to their name with the amount of detail they put in the world. The environment, the atmosphere, you know, everything. It's not like a horror movie. It's like a scary movie. Like, you go into a house, you find a couple bodies dead on the ground. Hollow Man, please shut up. You drive me nuts. It creeped me out at the beginning, Hollow Man did. Like, with his voice and stuff. But when you go into some houses and you find a dead body or something, you're like, man, that's gruesome. It's not like you're scared. But then you hear a vampire whisper and say something like some kind of, you know, thing under their voice or whatever. They're like, I can smell you or some shit. And it will make your skin crawl. Especially if you're playing by yourself and you're just chilling, you know. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, you haven't talked about the graphics problems. You haven't talked about the AI problems. Because I don't see them as problems. Honestly, I just look at them as like, yeah, that's messed up. But they'll probably patch fix it and nobody will complain again. So it doesn't matter. Will the patch happen right away? Probably not. It takes time for them to fix stuff like that. See, don't do that. Don't scrape your nails on anything, you freaky vampires. It drives me nuts. Alright. I know you saw me. And, oh, those cultists saw me. Now, you'll see cultists like that with, like the aura around them, like a blue aura. That means if you kill them, their master will come. Their vampire master will come to their aid. Or come to where they died and will attack you. It's really, really cool. And that's another thing. There's a lot of things I don't hear a lot of people talking about with the game, because it seems like a lot of people, as soon as they found out how bad the game really was for them, they just went nut shit on it and just started dogging on this game. Now, I will say this. I have 80 hours in the game. I'm enjoying myself. I'll admit there's some bugs and problems with the AI. I'll admit that there's some weird graphics stuff sometimes. And I will admit the game is unfinished. As a gamer, you can tell when you play a game when something doesn't feel right. It's like the safe house missions. All these safe house missions are missions that you feel like should be in the open world. Not actual missions. They should just be things that are organically in the world. I mean, I forget which safe house this is, what this mission is, the cult rallies. Like, these feel like they should just happen in the world. You even run across some that are like miniature versions of this. And it's like, okay, they have miniature cult rallies. Why don't they have the bigger ones? Like, in the world. No, they added in the safe house. And it doesn't bug me that they did that. I mean, it was a development choice. Probably for some unknown reason that we don't know. I mean, I have my speculations. I'm not going to get into them in this video. But the safe house missions just feel off. And then the missions themselves out of the fire station and out of the Marina Museum, when you get into the second area, when you get into the burial part, whatever it's called, map, it does that. And I want to talk about the map too, because like what you see here, this is the first map. I have scoured this map from top to bottom, left to right, everything. And there's still things I'm looking for to complete before I take this character on to the second area. I want to get all the grave locks and everything. And there's 46 of them. I have 32, so I want to get the rest of those. But this is the first map. And this is where things, like for me, make me really like the game. This whole entire map it revolves... Like, the story of this map revolves around the Hollow Man, who is the vampire god of this map. He's the first vampire god you're going to fight. Now, when you fight him, I'm not going to lie about his mechanics. he's pretty easy. He's got some pretty simplistic mechanics. And yeah. But this whole, like I said, this whole thing, the story of this area revolves pretty much around him and how he became a vampire, you know, what he's like as a vampire. It's pretty bad. But then you have the other area, and this is the second area you go to right here, and this is Burial Point. And you have, like, right there, the red symbol right there is where I have the line from the main missions underneath it pointing. That's the Marina Museum. And this area, again, just like the first area, really well put together, really well designed, lots of detail, lots of atmosphere, lots of, like, the feeling of a vampire invaded city. You know, it really has that whole premise. But then there's a little bit more than that. And, you know, when you play the second area, about 80% of the story revolves around the vampire god. And I say 80%, like 80% of the main story. Because you do get side missions, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You do get these other missions, like this has nothing to do with the main story. This has to do with one of the characters you meet in the firehouse, and he has you go do some, like, side mission stuff. This has to do with the main story, but it's more of a side story that has you go and get this girl's bunny rabbit and a card and stuff, and you do this, like, memorial for her. It's really cute. Sad. The story's sad, but it's cute that you do that. And then, of course, you have, like, the final boss fight. But these three missions, like I said, they pertain to a different character. And they do the same thing over in this area, but the rest of the missions are about Bloody Tom. And once you get to where you get to fight Bloody Tom, these two other missions show up. And those two missions deal with the third vampire boss, Miss Whisper. Now, I couldn't tell you who she is as a doctor because it's only in those two missions you learn about her. I know who Bloody Tom is. I know who he was before he became a vampire. I know all that stuff. It's explained to you. This is explained to you in two missions in this spot where the red line for main missions is pointing. That gray block there. That is it. Then you get two more missions right after that have you go against the final vampire god, the Black Sun, which is right here at the end of this road. That's it. Once you defeat her, game credits run. As soon as the game credits are over, you can replay the game from beginning to end. And you're thinking to yourself, why would I play through a game that's mostly story driven? I don't know. I've enjoyed it. I like the way that it's done because it reminds me of, like, the old Diablo days, like Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, where you would beat the game and you'd play through it again on a harder difficulty, and you play through it again on a harder difficulty, and play through it again, until they added that element where you could just travel the world in Diablo 2. In Diablo 1, you never had that. You just kept recycling the game. It kind of reminds me of that, and I dig on that, but at the same time, I understand why people wouldn't, because you expect an open world game to be open world, and, you know, you gotta be able to explore it as you want. But that's the only thing about the game that irritated me. Like, was the boss encounter for the third boss and the final boss. Like, that's it. Like, it was just thrown in and rushed. That's why a lot of people say this game feels unfinished. That in the safe houses and stuff. But other than that, like, the gameplay is solid. Like, the gunplay is solid. The gun designs, the fact that you get different weapons that have different, you know, like, they'll have different sights on them. They'll have different, you know, stakes and stuff. Now, I will admit, when you get the legendaries, you can't change the stakes out or anything, which kind of sucks. But other than that, I mean, that's not bad. It's not something that's going to break the game. But as I was saying about the different legendaries, I'll show you guys so you guys can see. Like, this legendary has, like, this weird U-shaped sight. This one seems to always have the same sight, but, like, this shotgun doesn't always have the same sights Like, the first one I got had, like, a red dot sight of the shotgun, and this is the second one I got of the shotgun. But then when you talk about, like, this gun always has the same sights. It always has that square red dot sight. And it's not bad. This is a great single shot, you know, rifle, because that's what it's made for. You know, variety of weapon-wise, I would say it's a decent amount for the size of game it is. I wouldn't say it's, like, massive like Borderlands, or even as massive as Anthem had. I mean, and we all know how bad Anthem, you know, like, people talked about Anthem. I personally liked Anthem. I just didn't like the direction, like, the way they did the story stuff. I think if they would have done the story stuff to where it happened, like, organically, and you didn't have to keep going back to the stupid city to do everything, I think it would have been better. And other than that, like, the gameplay of Anthem was awesome. And that's just my opinion. Other than that, this game is actually, in my opinion, a pretty decent game. Would I say it's worth $70? No. $40? Maybe. Now, if it was a finished product, and they gave us an area that had Miss Whisper had her own area, let's say, and the Black Sun had her own area, and their stories were a little bit more in depth, and the safe houses had more missions to them than one. You know, one made one, and then you fight an underboss. I think that would have been better. But other than that, for what the game is and what it offers, I would say that this wasn't an ambitious title for them. I think it was an unfinished title for them. And I think that what they have, their foundation for this game, is a good start. And if they were to do another game like this, I think they would knock it out of the park. I think they would do a phenomenal job with it. And in fact, I mean, with the way this game ends, who knows? We might see a Redfall 2. I doubt it, but you never know. But other than that, I mean, what else can I say about the game? You know, for me, it's a good game. It's got good gameplay. I would say if you have Game Pass, play it through there, see if you like it, you know, and if you do, play it. Like, you get the game, as long as you pay for a Game Pass, you get the game unlimited, and you can play it for as long as you want. Nobody can tell you you can or can't, so that's really up to you. Would I tell anyone to buy this game? No. I mean, even my brothers who were asking me about this game, you know, they were like, $70 price tag's kind of high, and I said, yeah, it's not worth it. Like, don't even worry about it. And they're like, but you're playing it. I'm like, yeah, I'll play it. I'll continue to play it. But it doesn't mean that I want you guys to go out and buy it. Like, there's other games we can play. I mean, heck, we're playing Ghost Recon Wildlands right now. Let's stick to that. I'll play this on my own time. And that's mostly why I don't have more hours in it, is because I've been playing other games too, like with my brothers and, you know, stuff. So I just haven't had a lot of time to play, you know, this game other than this. Man, those things are so cool, especially when there's a vampire sitting on the top, or when there's a watcher sitting up there and there's a vampire below. Really cool tower things. Yep. I hear you chit-chatting over there. Ooh, gun case. Anything good? Well, I'm not going to... Dang it, you're going to make me waste the lockpick on this, aren't you? Because you never know. You never know. Stake launcher, not bad. Not something I run around with a lot. Using. Not that I don't like them, it's just you get only 3 slots for weapons. Ew. That's bad. Let's see if I can anything in the police car. A shotgun. That's okay. There's vampires in that house. That's why it's making that eerie sound. But yeah, I mean, that's my honest opinions about this game. I mean, I can sit here and play this game for hours on end. And if people are going to ask me, does the game get frame stutters and, you know, like, buggy, buggy graphics and stuff like that. Like, I noticed pop-ins because of what I was talking about earlier with the way the game procedurally loads stuff into the world. Like, I noticed pop-ins because of that. But like my like frame drops or anything, I haven't had many of those, and when they do happen, it's usually when I've been playing for like 6 to 7 hours straight and my PC's been cooking the whole time, because I do live in the desert where it's hot. So when my computer gets really hot, yes, I notice frame drops. But most of the time, no. Unnoticeable. Now, people might see it from a video perspective, but I never notice it really, because it's never bad enough for it to like affect my gameplay. It happens, but from time to time. I want to check out this bus because I don't think I've ever seen a bus like this. This is going to be cultists.
Hey, somebody watch my back while I check this out.
Oh, right in the head and he didn't go down. Right, they're all dead. Oh, they have... I'm trying to save you, don't worry.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Bellwether. Ow. Oh, and they got me with a grenade. Their grenades suck, and their sniper shots are crazy good. And I missed out on that. Because I died, there's a good chance that it's gone now in the world. But I really wanted to do that bus. I've never done it in the past.
You're doing good.
Let's see if it's still there. But guys, that's really just it. I mean, my opinion on this is make your own decisions. If the game looks like something that you would enjoy, play it. Like, there's nothing wrong with giving a game a go. If you don't have the money for Game Pass, or you don't have the money to buy the game, then wait for it to go on sale. Eventually it'll drop in price and you'll be able to pick it up on Steam or even on Xbox for about, $15 or something. I doubt it'll be much more expensive than that. So. Oh. They're shooting at somebody. You can shoot your grenade yourself this time. They were shooting at a cultist, probably. They tend to battle with each other a lot. I am trying to rescue you. Chill out. But yeah, check it out for yourself. See what you think. Give your own thoughts and opinions on the game. Don't let others dictate what you find fun. That's my biggest advice here. So don't let others dictate what you find fun. I love vampire stuff, so this is like right up my alley. And I love their take on vampires. It's cool, it's exciting, it's creepy. But yeah, that's it. That's it for my tale of Redfall. If you guys want to see more videos about Redfall, I might do some guide videos and stuff. I don't know yet. A lot of other people have done a fair share of guides, and they're doing a great job with it, and I have to give them all kudos on their great work on that, and for sticking with the game and trying to be respectful to what Arcane Austin has brought us, because even though that it is Arcane Austin's fault to some degree with this, it's also Bethesda's, it's also Microsoft's. Can't leave all the good guys out. They're all to blame for the way this game came out. You can't just blame Arcane Austin. They were the developer, Bethesda was the publisher, and Microsoft wanted an exclusive first title, and that's why they, when they bought Bethesda, they knew this game was coming. So, but yeah, just check it out for yourself. Some people like the game, some people don't, but I mean, you could say that about a lot of games. Some people like Jedi Survivor, some people don't. I'm one of the people who don't. Not because I'm not a Star Wars fan, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm just done with theme park roller coaster rides. Sorry. Like, that's what that game reminds me of, is a theme park roller coaster ride. I liked the first game, I bought it, I played it, I enjoyed it, I beat it, and that was after like 20-something hours. I think I got my money's worth, so I'm happy with that, and I'll leave it at that. So that's pretty much it, guys. And I have a way I close out my videos a lot of people probably haven't heard. So I'll go ahead and get it done now. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. If you do subscribe, I do suggest you click that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, this guy might see you in game. Bye.